The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council for Monday, August 24, 2026 is called to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Andrews.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen.
Here.
Councilmember Coombs.
Present.
Councilmember Gardner.
Here.
Councilmember Hancock. Here. Councilmember Horton.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson.
Present.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Wiles.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Please join me in an invocation. O Lord, our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industry, sound education, and good government. Unite our community together, even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there will be justice and peace in our city. Give the city council and citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of our entire community. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Land acknowledgement. The City of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous peoples have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to the vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called upon to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Executive session update. During executive session, we discussed real estate acquisitions or property acquisitions, contractual issues, and security arrangements. Motion is in order for the approval of the minutes from August 10th, 2026.
Mayor, so moved.
It's moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Wiles to approve the minutes from August 10th, 2026. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the minutes from August 10th, 2026.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
I'm also a yes, Katie. I'm also a yes, Katie.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Hancock. The motion passes unanimously to adopt the August 10th, 2026 City Council meeting minutes.
Motion is in order for the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor.
Oh.
I was going to say, whoever makes the motion, if you can, you're probably going to do this, Mayor Pro Tem, but just say remove 11A4 and continue it to the 9/14 council meeting.
Great. Yes, and actually, I move to approve the agenda with 11A4 and 13A removed and continued to the 9/14 council meeting.
Second, Bergen.
Very well. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Bergen to approve the. Do we vote on the amendment first?
No, that's it. It's all, because we're doing it at the time of the adoption of the agenda, it's all together as one motion. So the motion is to remove 11A4 and 13A, right?
Okay, adoption of the agenda as amended.
Mayor.
Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, just to make sure that folks understand why I'm pulling both of my items, I had received some requests for substantial additional amendments to both items after policy committee and study session discussions and prior to this meeting. So I just want to make sure that those are reflected in what gets published, both for the public and for my colleagues.
Very well. Further discussion on the adoption of the agenda as amended? Seeing none, I'll call for the question on the adoption of the agenda as amended.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Andrews.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt the agenda with items 11A1 and 13A removed from the agenda.
Next question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on motions.
We have public invited.
Oh, I'm sorry, public invited to be heard.
I'll address it.
City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pete Schulte. I'm the appointed city attorney by the council. As parliamentarian of the council meetings, they've asked me to read the decorum statement, or the public comment announcement, as we call it. The first thing is, if you've signed up during our public invited to be heard, and it's something that's related to an agenda item, we ask that you let the city clerk know, there she is, she's gotten used to raising her hand, that if you are signed up for public comment but do want to address an agenda item, please go down and move to that item, because anything that you say during public comment will be part of the public record, and we need it to be part of the public record just for continuity's sake and any further issues that may come up with that particular agenda item. However, the items that have been removed, if you have signed up to speak on those items and would like to be shifted over to public invited to be heard, also come see the city clerk and she can get that moved over. I know there are several people that are signed up, so it may be pushed to the second public invited to be heard at the end of the meeting, but Katie will be able to tell you that. Now, here's the announcement. City Council has established this public forum to receive input from the community. The public invited to be heard portion of the meeting is limited by council rules to a total of 1 hour at the beginning of the meeting, which each speaker allotted 3 minutes. Speakers signed up to comment on agenda items are also limited to 3 minutes, and comments must relate directly to the item being considered. All participants are expected to observe the same standards of decorum as the council. Personal attacks, disruptive behavior, demonstrations such as clapping, snapping, cheering, booing, or similar actions are not permitted. Please show respect to all speakers, regardless of whether you agree with their comments, and allow everyone the opportunity to be heard. Speakers who do exceed the 3-minute time limit reduce the opportunity for others to speak. And also be considerate of your fellow residents when preparing your comments. And of course, we even though you're right under the First Amendment, please refrain from using profanity as children may be present or watching. Mayor?
Thank you. Public invited to be heard.
Chloe Desmolins, followed by Median Schaffner. Chloe Desmolins. Okay, Median Schaffner, followed by Kiowa Lewis.
Tonight you're going to hear from a family that has a very tragic story, and I am hopeful that despite anyone that sees my presence and already assumes opposition, that you open up your heart and your spirit for what you are going to hear. In November of 2024, Joseph Jones was hit and subsequently ran over by an RTD bus and dragged for 1,000 feet. In November of 2024, Joseph Jones was hit, subsequently ran over by an RTD bus, and dragged for 1,000 feet. You are going to hear from members of his family tonight, and they are going to share in their experience. They are living this grief out loud so that no one else has to experience what they experienced. So I am going to implore you that when you hear from his family, turn this beep off. Give them space. Oftentimes when families come into this space, they are immediately met with a wall of what you cannot do because you're city council. I've always found that strange because I think that what they actually should hear is this is what we can do because we are city council. And so our team looked at your charter. And in section 3-9, your charter gives this council broad legislative authority. Your charter places Aurora's administrative departments under the supervision and control of the city manager, and your charter provides a lawful relationship between this council and that manager. So here is what you can do. You can formally request that the city manager facilitate an appropriate independent administrative review of the handling of this investigation. You can request a public briefing or study session examining APD policies governing investigations specific to victim treatment, investigative equity, and the release of sensitive information concerning deceased victims. You can examine whether Aurora needs stronger policy safeguards so that race, socioeconomic status, and criminal history never determines the institutional sense of urgency. Tonight, we honor Joseph Jones, and I certainly hope that your hearts and minds are open to hear from this family.
Mayor, point of order, can we turn off the beeping portion of the timer? Like, is it possible to just not beep but still count down?
Well, I think every individual would get 3 minutes that's up there, correct? City Attorney.
Yeah, the point of order, I mean, to do that, I think it would take a vote of council to suspend the rules by 2/3 to turn the beeping off. The mayor could ask if there's any objection. And if there isn't any, then that would be by unanimous, but I think it would require a vote because that's our protocol.
We can help identify the family members if that's helpful.
Very well.
Can you give me 1 second?
Well,
So a motion would be in order by a council member or whoever, and I guess we need more info. How many individuals, how many?
There are 3 from the family signed up to speak,
Okay.
from Joseph Jones's family.
So Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem.
motion to suspend the rules to permit the family members to speak without the timer beeping if they exceed their time.
That is to the 3 family members, correct?
Yes.
And for the 3 minutes, just not beeping if they go a little over. Okay, is there a second?
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem, second.
Andrews?
Second by Councilmember Andrews. Discussion?
Mayor, question.
Councilmember
Question for the city attorney.
Gardner.
You've advised us in the past that if we have separate rules for separate speakers, that's a First Amendment violation. That we have to give the same rules for everyone, correct?
Correct, but again, we're not, at this particular point, there is no penalty for the beeping, it's just but I totally get what you're asking. Yes, it would be good to be consistent, but if it's a different situation, like in this case, because it's the family members who are trying to address council in how it was described, you can do that, but I do generally, yes, you should treat everybody the same.
So to reiterate, another speaker who was beeped off the podium would have a potential First Amendment claim against us, correct?
It wouldn't be a First Amendment claim because we're not stopping the speaking, it's just the beeping, because we are not extending the time of the 3 minutes.
What do you mean? We would be for the 3 family members, correct?
Well, the motion is to not have the beeping if they do get up to the time limit and start beeping to conclude their comments. So I think one of the things that we've been discussing in the Rules Committee is if they do get to that point and the mayor says, right, you need to wrap up your comments, they get about a 5 to 10 second grace period. Every speaker would get that. And so.
Is that consistent with your motion?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, very well. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the Mayor Pro Tem Combs' motion.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Council, thank you. The motion passes unanimously to suspend the council rules. And if I could have the 3 individuals' names.
Bridget Jones, LaShonda Pope, Knight. And Shaquana Knight. I think it might be Shaquana Jones, but it's Shaquana Knight.
So I just tapped I would just say, if they start, just say, hey, you wrap your comments up. Thank you. Wrap your comments up. Katie, who's
Okay.
next? Yeah.
So the next person we have is Kiowa Lewis, followed by Ante Anderson. You want,
I think let's have the family speak.
I'm going to defer to city attorney.
So I understand the family's up there, but we do have the
Okay.
rules with how people have signed up. They have their priority, and I totally get it, but we would need another vote to suspend the rules for that, and then but I would suggest that we just follow how the people signed up, because that's how the rules
Very well.
require. We'll hear the family members when they come up.
Wherever you're at on the list, that's when we'll come back up. But we're going to stay here for Kiowa. Don't leave Kiowa.
Okay, Kiowa Lewis.
Together, yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of those who do right in America. This country was never built for us. It was never one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is a shame that we have to come here and have to fight for a gentleman who was dragged 1,000 feet. What is wrong with y'all? What gets me even more is for those who actually are oppressing the people that are your same ethnicity, if not minority at the same time. This affects you just as much. So we sit here because we want to make sure that this family is heard. We're not playing no games. Like, we're so tired of everything that the city is doing. I stand with what is right, and I stand with this family. So with me standing with this family, I urge anybody, whoever sees this, to stand with this family as well. Because it's time for us to go ahead and put up a barrier for Aurora and go ahead and force our authority. Because Aurora will say that they can't do things, which is not true. Because if their child had just shot a passenger as an Uber driver, they'll make it happen. So I sit here and I hold space for my people. And the thing is, it's not a black or white thing, it's a right thing. And this is not to go against anybody of any different color. We're here to stand for what is right. Well, there's only a few of y'all up here that does stand for what is right, and I appreciate and I applaud everything that y'all do. Thank you so much, and you know who you are. And the ones who don't, you know who you are too. So as we stand for justice, for this issue, this incident that we have going on right now, I want to take a moment of silence and yield the rest of my time as we take a moment of silence for this family. The ones that are not on this list are the ones who stand for the people. So y'all know who that is, so they're not on this list.
Aonte Anderson, followed by Chad Johnson. This individual has an approved ADA request and received one extra additional minute to speak.
Woe unto them that decree unrighteousness decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. Isaiah 10, verses 1 and 2. For years, grieving families have come into this chamber asking counsel for one basic thing: acknowledge our humanity. And often this council responds with a lecture about what you cannot do. You cannot prosecute. You cannot fire. You cannot interfere. You cannot comment. You cannot act. And the question is, what can you do? Because families are not coming here asking for you to perform miracles. They are asking you to simply give a damn about their loved ones being murdered in your city. They're asking you to say that their loved ones mattered. They're asking you to stop hiding behind procedure every time accountability becomes uncomfortable. Isaiah warned about governments that use decrees, rules, and institutions to turn away people from justice. And that is exactly what happens when government officials spend more time explaining the limits of your power than exercising the power that you actually hold. If you cannot prosecute, speak out. If you cannot fire, demand answers. If you cannot control what the district attorney, then stop acting like that strips you away from a conscience. You can control budgets. You can pass ordinances. You can appoint people. You oversee this city. You were elected to oversee this city. You command microphones, cameras, staff, lawyers, an enormous public platform. So do not sit behind the dais and act as if you are powerless when families are asking you to help them. I'm going to pause and I'll wait for Michael. I'll wait for your attention. Michael Kaufman. And this is exactly what we are talking about. Individuals here, for you to pay attention to their issue, for you to give a damn about what they are talking about, and the mayor cannot pull away from his cell phone. Let that sink in to everyone watching this footage, that a family is here to talk about their loved one, and the mayor cannot pull away from his text messages. That, right now, is the first interaction this family is getting ready to have with the government leaders of the city of Aurora. This is why people have to come here every other week, asking you to believe in their humanity, asking you to see their loved ones as humans, is because when they approach this dais, the mayor can't even break away from his cell phone. The mayor gets to continue to breathe while people behind me have had to bury loved ones. The mayor gets to continue to walk around with the public platform while people behind me are begging for 3 minutes to get this man's attention. Let that sink in. I'm going to let the last 10 seconds so the mayor can finish his text message, because I hope it's done when the family approaches this dais. I hope you're ready, Michael.
Chad Johnson, followed by Jeffrey McFarland.
My name is Chad Johnson. I am a resident of Ward 5. There are now over 116,000 flock or other automatic license plate reader cameras across the United States, approximately 100 of which are here in Aurora. We did not ask for these to be put up. Each camera takes an average of 2 million photos a month for a total of 200 million per month here in our city. They take photos of you when you go to work, when you go to the grocery store, when you drop off your kids at school, when you go out of town on vacation or see family. Unsurprisingly, such a brazen violation of the Fourth Amendment is rife with abuses. Just over a week ago, news broke that no less than 18 police officers in Georgia have been discovered to use this database to track romantic partners, exes, and family, among others. One of them even looked up an ex over 1,000 times. Can any police department or government agency be trusted with this data? No, and doubly so for a police department like APD, or ICE, which also has full access to this database. How can we build a high-trust community with such a system in place and surveillance drones flying around our neighborhoods at night? The answer is we can't. And the good news is that y'all can forge a new path and save the city a significant amount of money in the process. Additionally, this data is extremely insecure and vulnerable to hacking. According to research and testing, the average flock camera runs a 2021 Android build, and the majority don't even encrypt the data that they transmit. It can be intercepted by an $80 device. These are just two of over 50 security vulnerabilities discovered and illustrated by YouTuber Ben Jordan. I'm happy to share that video with anyone on the council who's interested. There are very few omnipartisan issues in 2026. One is data centers, where 2 weeks ago this council decided to ignore the will of the people who wanted a data center moratorium. I urge you not to make this mistake again with the other omnipartisan issue of our day, flock cameras. Let the city's contract with Flock expire next year and do not replace it. Flock and other ALPRs make us less safe, and we do not want them in Aurora. Thank you.
Jeffrey McFarland, followed by Aaron Futrell.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Jeffrey McFarland. I'm a resident of Ward 1, as I'm sure some of you may be familiar with. And keeping with the thread of hearing what needs to be said regardless of any predispositions about me or my opinions, I would like to give a shout out to Officer Sean Grayson, Sonia Massey's murderer, who died of cancer in prison, for the appropriate response from a killer police officer, which is dying in prison, which allows me a convenient segue into the fact that officers Michael Deek and Brandon Mills and Kevin Rodier, et cetera, of the APD continue to patrol our streets, even though they too have murdered somebody. In fact, I think there's a guy that's got a trial coming up here relatively soon. Oh yeah, that's right. Officer Matthew Neely, who needlessly shot Rajon Belt Stubblefield in the face in the middle of 6th Street, right? I have several rhetorical questions, both because of the nature of the rules mean you can't answer my question, but also just for the folks who would like to ponder on things. Why is it that every week this group who comes to the city council meetings grows bigger? Yeah, it fluctuates. Yeah, sometimes we're busy, sometimes we get sick. But there's always another family, it seems. There's always a bigger group. The Venn diagrams of these groups continue to cross over because most folks who want APD to stop shooting black people in the street also seem to want less data centers in Aurora, maybe 1 or 2 less concentration camps for ICE in Aurora. And it gets treated as though it's all not only a series of disconnected and unrelated issues, but also like it's a series of minority positions to hold. And I think that it's like the proof continues, whether it's in the tenacity of showing up or the growing numbers, that I don't think it's a minority opinion. I don't think it's a minority opinion. Another thing I don't think is a minority opinion, or it shouldn't be if it is, APD's police chief is racist. That's in the litigation. Argue with me all you want. Die mad about it. Todd Chamberlain is a racist. Fine. Let's pull on the thread there. Who hires Todd Chamberlain? Jason Batchelor. The dude, I don't know why he even comes to these, because he doesn't look up. I'm not expecting him to look up, at the mention of his name, but I genuinely never see him look up at all. So Jason Batchelor has this contract for these data centers. It assures everybody that it's going to be fine. And Jason Batchelor gets to pick our police chief, who 4 other cities turned down and say that it's going to be fine. I think you can listen to the will of the people, or...
Aaron Futrell, followed by Anna Harris.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. no notes today. I'm going to speak from the heart. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And as I was driving my truck up to my significant others up in Jeffco, I noticed along Havana that there were a plethora of gas stations, and now another one's coming in. There's two Mavericks, a Safeway, there's a Costco, 7-Eleven, a new Circle K, Stinkers, all within 0.5 miles of each other. There was a gentleman here the last council meeting talking about how Aurora needed new avenues of revenue. I agree with him. We need new avenues of revenue. We don't need gas stations. That gas station won't bring in like the revenue a creative idea would actually bring in. We need something like the carnival there's a temporary carnival at the Aurora Mall. It makes money. Why aren't we like searching for answers, like bringing in an amusement park over by the Gaylord or somewhere else? Why aren't we concentrating on new ideas instead of creating the same problems? Because I guarantee you one of those new gas stations, either Circle K or one of the new Mavericks, is going to close when that Quick Trip opens up. My other contentious point, I serve on the RTD, for transparency, I serve on the RTD Citizens Advisory Commission, and the family that's about to speak definitely deserves justice. Their family member did not need to be dragged under an RTD bus for 2 miles and not be noticed, and then RTD, the City of Aurora, or APD, does nothing. Again, that's the definition of insanity. My grandmother, who some of you knew, who some of you served with, once told me when I was dealing with a racist security guard at Buckingham, for years I thought the quote that she told me was attributed to her, kind of was like the start of my activism. But she basically told me if you wanted to see change in the world, you have to be the change, which Gandhi said, and I truly believe. So instead of creating this insanity with gas stations that nobody needs, we need to be that change.
Anna Harris, followed by Megan Siffring.
Sorry, I needed my clock. Right. 7 seconds. You all seem to have plenty to say to the newspapers. Former council members have plenty to say on Facebook, and somehow the angriest moments always seem to find their way into the news instead of the most accurate ones. Imagine if the headlines looked a little different. Mother of Kylan Lewis flies in from Atlanta, again asking Aurora for justice. Or criminal justice graduate brings Aurora Police Directive Manual to City Council with the broken directives from Corey Dillard's case highlighted. How about decorated Army veteran's widow returns to Aurora City Council, again asking officers for answers? Those headlines would tell the public something very different about the people who keep coming into this chamber. Here's another headline you could have written. Recipient of the National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorist Service Medal, and the Army Service Ribbon killed in 7.5 seconds after Aurora police arrived to his home. Corey served this country. His military record says he was worthy of medals for that service. Yet when the Aurora police arrived to our home, they did not give him enough time to say a single word. 7.5 seconds. That's it. His service to this country said something about who he was. We have spent nearly 2 years trying to say something about who he was, finally clearing up the blatant lies Todd Chamberlain told at the press brief. I have stood here with facts, laws, timelines, police training directives, and evidence as a criminal justice graduate, but apparently none of that is interesting enough to become the story. Instead, when grieving families become angry, the anger becomes the headlines. Then you turn around and tell those same families that nobody listens to them because of their tone. Even members of this community have stood in this chamber and defended that same indifference. Robert Gray stood here and said some people just need to be shot. People who shoot at or attack the police, fine. Yet let's use that standard. Kylan Lewis did not shoot at the police. He was on his knees complying. Corey Dillard didn't have a knife. He was across the parking lot with his back to the police. By that standard, these victims should still be alive. So which is it? When we yell, you publicize us and condemn our delivery. When we come prepared, educated, calm, and respectful, you ignore us. That tells me the problem was never our tone. The problem is what we are saying. So if this city council truly does not care, then stop dancing around it. Stand on it. Say it. We do not care if the police shoot black men while they're on their knees. We do not care if they're armed or not. Say it. We do not care about the brown people in Aurora, because if that is not what you mean, then your actions need to start saying something different.
Megan Siffring, followed by Hashim Coates.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Megan Siffring. I've lived in Aurora for 10 years, currently reside with my husband and our 2 daughters in Ward 3. So longtime listener, first-time caller. I often use humor as a coping mechanism, but joking aside, there's a reason I've never stood up at this podium, and I'm ashamed to admit that it's not a very valid one. For years, I've watched in admiration as dozens of brave citizens, some repeat appearances, have approached this dais in support, in opposition, in tears. They have offered inspiring ideas. They have yelled in desperation. They have begged you for change. All of these individual battles we face tie us together as a community, because any person with a shred of dignity can share the outrage of a neighbor being locked up for existing while brown. Any person with an iota of empathy can feel the ache of a mother asking for accountability for her son's murder. I'm talking about Elijah McClain, Kylan Lewis, Rashad Johnson, Amari Garlington, Blaze Bell Mason, Rajon Belts Doublefield, Joseph Jones. It doesn't mean we are each personally experiencing these tragedies, nor do we claim ownership of them, but it shouldn't have to happen directly to you for you to care. The span of heartbreaking events occurring in the world right now is exhausting and defeating, and it's made to deter you from protesting against it. There's too much to fix and too little power in the hands of those who actually want to fix it. There's too much to condemn, and the overwhelm makes it impossible to focus on one thing at a time. As a white-presenting woman, it feels selfish to occupy time in this chamber when I believe that microphones should largely be reserved for those who aren't often given a voice. But I realize that I can't help my community that way. What I can do is use my privilege to amplify those without it. I'm very proud of and grateful for many of you on the council. Thank you to those of you for listening and showing courage, showing up and doing the work. You know who you are. And those of you who don't also know who you are. So as you all vote on data center regulations, contracts with ICE, open spaces, our natural resources, police reformation, and everything in between, we are all watching. We will be paying especially close attention to the work being done by the new Office of Public Safety Accountability. I'm optimistic about the intention behind this task force, but I think it goes without saying that we expect transparency. And to my fellow community members, If there's anything that I can do to help or support your mission to make this in Aurora for all of us, I would love to listen and collaborate with you. We can do some pretty amazing things when we're all fed up together. Thank you.
Hashim Coates. Hashim Coates, followed by Della Jordan.
Hashim Coates, Aurora resident, U.S. United States Navy veteran. Here I am again, calling for the firing of Chief Todd Chamberlain, who is affectionately known to others as a racist-ass cracker. Yes. At some point, accountability has to reach the person at the top. And I need counsel to understand who's at the top. Because for some reason, it seems like somebody's playing who's zooming who. Aurora continues to experience deadly encounters with the police. The residents, and specifically the Black and brown residents, when serious questions arise about these encounters, lying-ass Chief Chamberlain runs to the front to create some type of public narrative that demonizes the citizen. He's utilized public resources to carry out his own personal agenda against the action of council. Now, we know where I lie politically, but if the roles were reversed, I still would stand behind principle on that. And you all need to stand behind principle on that and treat Chamberlain as you would any other Aurora employee that misused public property. Additionally, you've heard the families get up here and speak into their harms of what happened at the hands of Aurora Police Department, whether it's through the police directly shooting and killing and murdering their loved ones, or whether they're turning their blind eye and not doing an investigation. The head of the snake has to be cut off in order for that snake not to move. That is Chief Chamberlain. And as we go to the end of this, the consent decree beginning to unravel and Aurora making different changes, and we're going into this public accountability forum, my question is, who hires? Who does this group report to? Is it to the same man that provides cover for Chief Chamberlain? And that would be City Manager Jason Batchelor? Or would this be a group that operates independently and is answerable to council? The people elected you, whether I like it or love it or not, right? The people elected you all to lead, and collectively, I ask you all to utilize the power that you have. Suggestions that need to happen right now. The attorney and the city manager need to come down. The people did not have a say in that. The people had a say in all of you all. This belongs to the people's representatives, and that's how it should be. Because for some reason, he feels, or his behaviors act and emulate like he's the one in control, like he's the one making the decisions, while the people are out here frustrated because we recognize we voted for who has the power. And when you all do not utilize that, it pisses us off. And when he provides cover for the police, that's how you get type of things in the relationship with the police, of fuck the police. It's because of that situation, because they have burned trust with
Della Jordan. Della Jordan, followed by Kevin Wilson.
Is Denver City Council like this?
They don't even watch public comment. They don't like 30 minutes.
This is the top one. Navigation Center, Aurora PD, Chamberlain. Advanced Pathways, Dominant Security. J. Walters, Klansman, Single Thug. I want to talk to you about Ashley. Do council know what happened to Ashley? Late September or early October 2025 at ADRC, located at 13387 East 19th Place. Ashley, a young black male sitting in a black $5 plastic chair, which is similar to the Senator's black chairs. Staff says you cannot sit in our chair, Ashley. Give it up. Ashley says this is not your chair. Conversation continues back and forth. Other homeless guests say, staff, this is not your chair. George from the hospital gave that chair to Ashley. Staff suspends Ashley for 3 days. No, make it 7. All guests go inside. I'm sitting back face to the door. I hear a loud bang. Turn around just to see 2 security, 1 staff standing over a man on a concrete floor. The 3 men lift the man, Ashley, from the floor. They lift him up 5 to 6 feet high. Body slams him the second time into the concrete floor. Advanced Pathways and dominant security employees begin to press their knee into Ashley's chest on the concrete floor. I move fast with phone in hand to video or take pictures. Staff stop me. We don't want you to get hurt, Ms. Della. Staff formed the shield around Ashley's body on the concrete floor. 3 200 to 250-pound men kneeling on his chest. George Floyd? I wasn't allowed to get to or comfort that young man. ADRC suspended Ashley for 1 year. The 3 thugs, adrenaline pumping, reenacted as if they had just had sex, smoked a cigarette, had a drink, reenacting the crime they had just committed, laughing, patting each other on the back. One said, "Wow, man, did you see what I just did? That was so much fun." I'm trying to find Ashley because it's my belief that he only has 2 years to take legal action. Staff said Aurora PD was called. I never saw them. I was there all day. I and many other witnesses are here for you, Ashley. Guests say he moved on to a Brighton shelter. Council has my phone number. In case anyone finds Ashley, tell him to call me because together we're going to take care of Advanced Pathways. My situation has led me to take legal action in the courts. It has been over 60 days, no meds. They still will not return my medication to me. And Denver police have become involved in the situation now because they feel that if it's my medication, if there's a prescription for it, my name is on it, it belongs to me, not to that center.
Kevin Wilson, followed by Tanya Tabachek.
My name is Kevin Eugene Wilson. I reside at 14th and Kingsland. There have been numerous 911 calls made by me to that location, as well as other people, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm going to cut to the chase here. Number 1, the Friday the 13th of March, I had a great fall. I still got jet lag from it. Over there at the Aurora Mall, the bus depot. So 911 called, they take me by ambulance to Health One. There I hear Aurora PD talking a bunch of BS to the AI humanoid medical staff there to make me walk. So I had to walk instead of being admitted. So then after a long walk and a bus ride, I'm in excruciating pain by that time, even more so, after breaking my wrist and other injuries I received. People at that point had to help me off the bus and on the bus. I was in so much pain. So finally, long story short, I wind up at Denver Health for the same issue. I begged them not to send me home because I had to walk up a huge flight of high incline stairs in my garage apartment where I reside. I didn't want to fall again. Then in the early morning hours of Saturday, the 14th of March, I hear some of these people's voices that are always talking a bunch of BS about me in the neighborhood, always trying to get me evicted, even trying to burn my house down and what have you, always trying to kill me, poisoning me and what have you. And then who comes around the corner with Well, there was some Aurora PD and Chief Tom Chamberlain and Short and Statue walked past. Now, mind you, this is on video. A little while later, medical staff forced me out and accusing me. By the time I make it home, I climb up the flight of stairs. I fall at the top of the stairs. Some type of trip hazard was intentionally put there. I was in so much agony and pain. It took me like a half hour to get up. I called Denver Health the next day. Hey, you sent me home. I re-broke my wrist. Come and get me. You know, oh, well, we can't do that. Then I go to try to get my wrist reset. They said, oh, it can't be reset. And even some of the people in the urgent care at Denver Health high-fiving each other, how they kept me in so much pain because they lied to me saying they couldn't reset my wrist. Mind you, also, when I went to go try to make another attempt to go to the ER at Denver Health, oh, they want to put some special orange or yellow suit people that grab my wrist. I got a lot more to say. What happened to my family? They're missing for a long time and you send me doppelgangers? Shame on you all. Happy holiday.
Tanya Tabachek, followed by Jason Bailey.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. First, I had originally was going to talk about the data centers, but I'll talk to Amy later, whatnot. Not feeling it today. I want to first offer my condolences to the family, and I'm just really irritated. I just came back last week or whatnot from England, and their justice system is like, it's not there. I don't even know. People get away with stuff, hitting people, raping people, whatever, stabbing people. And one would think that Aurora is like a high-powered city, really, and you guys know what you guys support, and regardless if you agree with me or not, or how I feel about certain things. But we're in the United States of America, okay? We are so privileged compared to overseas. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And the way that people treat each other is it really upsets me. I mean, I was over there and just this one guy, he raped and killed a girl, and he got out and he just raped him, and they got out and then he just murdered him. And it's like, okay, they didn't do nothing. They're like finally going to put him away. And I'm like, we're not like that in Aurora. We're not like that in this city. But the way some things have come about with the last 2 years, I have my own opinion. I'm totally different than the rest of my family. And it just really gets me upset that sometimes the way that you guys treat each other and talk to each other, it just really irritates me. Or I was looking up ordinances, the code thing about appearances and so forth. And my mom's like, well, they don't have to go in. If they don't want to show up, they don't have to show up. So I applaud, seeing those that are here. But it just, you are voted by the citizens of Aurora. And some of them, I know that you could see you in town meetings and stuff, but a lot of us don't have that ability to take time off or whatever to go and meet and so forth. And then you have people like Della Jordan. I'm like, for me, I feel like going there myself and I don't understand how many times a lady could come talk to you guys, someone to actually do something or change something so she's not as upset as she is. But I'm just learning to slowly speak on what I want to, different things that is important. And I know some don't agree or whatnot, but I'm just finally coming to my own, and especially being over in England. I don't want Aurora to be like that. Aurora is a better city than that thing.
Jason Bailey, followed by Veronica Sebron.
Hello, thank you for having me. Jason Bailey. I am here to talk about one of the biggest problems we all face, and that's government debt. Why anybody would vote for more debt when it's one of the biggest problems we already have, I have no idea. We are here to oppose all government debt, and City of Aurora has some debt coming up on the ballot this November. We're here to oppose this. Why do we do this? Because government debt is counterproductive at face value. It has the exact opposite effect of why you'd use debt. You'd use debt to end up with more. With government debt, we end up with less as we pay twice as much. To vote for government debt as you raise taxes is the exact same thing mathematically as saying we are going to give 50 cents of every tax dollar to Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, Barclays. Government debt makes no sense at face value. The whole purpose of business debt is that you're going to end up with more. Say you have a restaurant and you're making money. You might use business debt to build a second location. The whole point of building the second location is to double your productivity and double your revenue. The whole point of debt is to double your revenue. The whole point of debt is the opportunity. Unless, of course, you're in an emergency and you're racking up your credit cards. We've all been there. But you would never do that volitionally. You'd never say, I think I'll vote to rack up my credit cards and live on my credit cards. It's a mistake that happens. It's not something you would do intentionally. Government debt makes no sense at face value. The very idea that we'd use debt to double our revenue, our tax money, would make no sense, of course. Government debt's a fixed budget. When you add debt to a fixed budget, all you do is double and triple your expense. There's no upside. There's no upside to government debt. You double your expense and you triple your expense with no upside. Why would you do that? Makes no sense whatsoever. This November, we have a chance to vote no for new debt. The bad news is government debt's one of the biggest problems we all face. The good news is we have a chance this November to vote no and defeat the new debt. Dear City of Aurora, you have no investors, none. No person in this room has ever invested one single dollar into our government. You have no investors. Our governments have no investors. You have no capital. You have no capital. Don't let the financial predators fool you. Capital is money we invest in a business. We call that capitalism. I love capitalism. I did business for 40 years. A government budget is a completely different budget. It's like an HOA budget. An HOA budget is a government budget. The City of Aurora is an HOA budget. You have tax money and you have expense. That's it. You have no capital. You have no capital expenses. You have expense. Roads are expense. I love roads, but they're not an investment, they're an expense. Like the cars that drive on the road, they are an expense, they wear out. They don't make you money. Vote no on November. 1 second here, too. Mike, if you want to see our website for more information, you can take a look at our website. Citizens for No New Debt is the organization. Citizens for No New Debt. It's 5 words, it's all spelled out. .org. Citizens for No New Debt. If you want to take a look at our website, we talk about.
Your time's up.
Veronica Sebron, followed by Bridget Jones.
I am here again because another family has been left with a body to bury, no answers, and no one in our systems willing to care enough to question the gaps. On my justice journey for my son, Jalen D'Angelo Sebron, I've shared tears, heartache with other families. I have sat with this mother specifically. I have watched her cry. I have listened to her memories, because holding on to memories is how we keep reality from slipping away. I have seen the emptiness in her eyes with added pain because she has no answers. Another life taken, another story cut short, another family with no answers, and it's a pattern the community has been naming for far too long. We have spoken the names of Kylan Lewis, Corey Dillard, Rajon Belt Stubblefield, Jordell Richardson, sons, brothers, futures taken under systems that promised to protect but delivered silence. And now we must speak another name with the weight deserved, Joseph Jones. Joseph Jones was discarded in his final moments, treated as if his life could be thrown away without consequences. But his story will not be discarded, and his family shall not be discarded. You've asked me previously, specifically, Mayor Kaufman, that why are we bringing these requests to you? So I'm rephrasing the question back. Who does the family address when the police department has denied them and systems have failed the families? I'm not here to assume what you can do. I'm here to request that you contact the family of Joseph Jones and tell them directly, this is what we can do and this is what we will do, because silence is harm. Active listening must be followed by speaking up and then action. Listening without change is performance. Listening without recommendation, policy shifts, and structure correction. This is how patterns become traditions. The family has sat with questions and no answers, and they deserve today the answers. So I'm calling on to you to be the council that looks above the walls already built. I call on you to look past the police department that denied them. Tonight, I'm saying be the ones who follow through. Be the ones to not leave the family with no answers, no response, and no respect. Become the council of compassion, response, and action. Again, my request is for you to contact this family, speak and show on what you can and how you can help this family and be with them, and make sure they do not sit in silence no more. I am among the living victims, willing to continue standing for the ones that have been taken from us. I stand with this family, and they deserve answers that your department has failed to give.
Bridget Jones, followed by LaShonda Pope.
Good evening, everyone. My name is, first I want to say
What's wrong with this?
that I'm Joseph Jones's mother. I can do this. And I'm here, and I have to be here strong. And I'm here to shed light on my son's long story. I want to give you some details of what happened, unfortunately, on the night of November 2024, according to the reports. In the video, my son was pedestrian, walking and singing according to the APD and witness reports. And there was a possible vehicle that was driving that hit my son, sped away, leaving the scene, according to the witness report. And he was lying in the first lane. And later on, which was plenty of time, so as he's laying there, needing help, and later on along the route, the RTD bus driver, Nahum Wood-I, the driver was Nahum Wood-I. He was operating bus number 9379, and he didn't come to a complete stop, running him over. According to the reports in the video, the bus picked up speed after the fact, dragging my son under the bus 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet. He wasn't even identifiable. The devastation to his body was unimaginable, that I have had to suffer and face the pain of the agony to go through that. The loss of my son. And the lady called 911. And Amtrak's, RTD, the other driver for Amtrak's, they saw, she saw something that she questioned. And she called her supervisor to come down. And The bus kept on going. The bus that hit my son kept going, never did stop. That was considered a hit and run. Anytime someone hit and they do not stop, that's a hit and run. You can even feel a bump. How do you drag someone's body 1,000 feet and my son's body just locked from beneath the bus and he kept going and later could not even locate the driver. And I need to understand and know why there was no media attention. There was no media attention. My son was silenced in the media. They never said his name. They never saw help. If there was another vehicle, why didn't the Medina alert go off? Why wasn't the community, why did they say, seek the community efforts? Help was really being sought for my son in trying to find a driver or whatnot. But one thing they do know, that RTV hit and dragged and destroyed my son's body. Why wasn't that hitting the media? Why wasn't that, I need to know, was it presented to DA? They dropped the case in 2 months. 2 months, my son's case was dropped. It was closed, just like that. I need answers, and I want justice for my son.
Okay. Please wrap up.
I need justice.
Please.
Katie, can I get the individual's contact information, please?
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Coombs, Councilmember Andrews, Councilmember Jackson, Wiles. Okay. LaShonda Pope, followed by Shaquana Jones.
Joseph was a son, a brother, and an uncle. There's something meaningful about Joseph sharing his name with Joseph in the Bible. The Joseph in Scripture experienced hardships, setbacks, and circumstances beyond his control, yet he remained faithful, preserved, and continued moving forward in many ways. Our Joseph carried the same spirit. He faced challenges, but he was determined not to let those challenges take away his strength or change who he was. Joseph was determined to stay strong, loyal, and true to himself. He had his own way of doing things, his own personality, and his own values. No matter what life placed in front of him, there was a part of Joseph that refused to give up. He was working toward a better future to prove that his past did not define him. Joseph was loyal to people he loved. When he cared about someone, he cared deeply. He had a bigger heart. He had a big heart when it came to the women in his life. He had a natural drive to love, protect, encourage, and make them feel cared for. He had many women in his life that he was a protector over, that he encouraged, and that he made feel cared for. He also was very, very goofy. He was funny, very funny, playful, and full of personality. He knew how to make people laugh and could bring humor into even the simplest moments. The goofy spirit was part of what made him unique. Those laughs, jokes, and memories are things our family will carry with us forever. As his sister, there's a special bond that came with knowing Joseph as a brother. I've seen all the different sides of him, the strong side, the stubborn side, the loyal side, the loving side, and especially the goofy side that can make us laugh when we needed it the most. He was part of our family story, our memories, our laughter, and our lives. Joseph was proud of his accomplishments. He graduated with a very high GPA, showing determination and ability to work towards his goals. He had potentials and dreams of becoming an owner of a unique wing spot. His future did matter. As a family, we want Joseph to be remembered for the whole person he was, like the Joseph in the Bible. His story should not be defined by his hardship he experienced. Our Joseph story was also about perseverance, loyalty, strength, growth, love, family, laughter, and staying true to himself. Joseph was a son who was loved, a brother whose presence will always be missed, and an uncle to those lives. Sorry, give me a minute. He was an uncle to the children. His absence has left a pain and emptiness that words cannot fully describe. Joseph deserves justice, and our family deserves closure. We deserve answers about what happened to our loved one and the opportunity to know his life and his death were taken seriously. Seeking justice is not about being anger or revenge. It's about honoring Joseph, recognizing the value of his life, and giving our family the truth, accountability we need to begin this healing. Joseph mattered. His life mattered. His strength mattered. His loyalty mattered. His love mattered. And most important, Joseph stayed Joseph, strong, loyal, determined, and true to himself. Our family will continue to honor his memory and make sure he is remembered for all of who he was. We will carry his name, his laughter, his love, and his memory with us while continuing to seek the justice and the closure.
Shaquana Jones.
So the beam lights on RTD can beam as far as 300 feet. The bus driver should have immediately stopped when he seen Joseph. Joseph was a brother, he was an uncle, he was a cousin and a son, and he was a deeply loved member of our family. He was recklessly run over and dragged as though his life had no value. The horrific way he died robbed our family of a proper goodbye. That we deserved. We were forced to bury my brother in pieces, carrying a grief and trauma no family should have to endure. What makes this loss even more unbearable is knowing that the bus driver who recklessly ran him over was able to continue with life the very next day as though nothing had happened, as though Joseph's life could simply be forgotten. But our family has not been able to move on. Nothing has been business as usual. Since the moment Joseph was taken from us, we wake up every day facing the reality of a loss that never should have happened. Joseph was a beloved brother, uncle, son, and cherished member of our family. He was more than the way he died, and his life cannot be reduced to the circumstances of his death. He had a life, a family, and people who loved him deeply. Our family continues to grieve, and we ask that the truth of what happened and the value of Joseph's life be recognized. We deserve justice. We deserve accountability. Most of all, Joseph deserved to be remembered as the person he was, loved, valued, and irreplaceable. I just want to take the rest of my time and just think about if it was one of your loved ones under the bus, what would you want done? And no charges have been brought.
Thank you.
Matthew Whaley, followed by Ken Hampshire. Matthew Whaley. Okay, Ken Hampshire.
Mayor, City Council, good evening. I've got an issue that I wanted to bring to your attention that seems to have been overshadowed a little bit by an issue of democracy here tonight. I would urge you all to pay special attention to some of the things that were spoken tonight. I feel like my topic's a little insignificant coming after that, but let me just tell you what I'm here for. My name is Ken Hampshire. I live at 8303 Quill Run Road, just north of Watkins. I own and operate a B&B. We have a 5-room B&B that we depend on much of our reservations for the airport. We're only 5.5 miles from the airport, and it used to be a 20-minute drive to get to our facility from the airport. But 3 years ago, with the flooding that happened on 56th Avenue, it took out the road and created an 8-mile detour, which is another 10 minutes for our guests to make it to our B&B. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but it cost us dozens and dozens of reservations over the last 3 years. But the issue I wanted to bring up to you tonight was we were told at the time, after the flooding and destruction of 56 happened, that the repairs would take not 2 years, but 3 years. Well, it's been 3 years. And now I'm told with the latest discussions with the street and traffic person here in Aurora that it's going to be another year before repairs are even begun. I wanted to bring you aware of what's happening to the people that live out in my area. So I went online and I looked at the average daily traffic of a main arterial 2-lane highway like 56th Avenue. If we assume 2,000 cars a day, which is what the internet told me, it's been closed for 1,095 days, and it's an 8-mile detour. So that means there's been 17,520,000 forced miles by 2,000 people a day at a cost of 72 cents a mile for a total cost of over $12,600,000 borne by the people of that part of the county. If we drop that down to even 1/10 of that, to think that that's a ridiculous estimate, 200 people have paid $1,260,000 over the last 3 years because the city of Aurora can't somehow seem to get 56th Avenue repaired. That doesn't even include all the extra time that people spend driving that detour every day, which amounts to over 36,800 unnecessary and unpaid hours. So any attention you can put on getting 56th Avenue opened as a main thoroughfare to the airport would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Katie, can I get his contact information?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor, council members, we've reached our 1-hour limit. We have 4 additional speakers.
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Motion to extend the public invited to be heard time to hear the remaining, suspend the rules to extend the time to allow the remaining 4 speakers to speak.
That's moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Horton. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the motion.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Bergen. Thank you. Councilmember Hancock. Thank you. Councilmember Horton. Thank you. The motion passes unanimously to extend the 1-hour public invited to be heard limit. And the next person we have is Andrew Pinkowitz, followed by Laura McLaughlin.
Hello, Mayor Kaufman and Aurora City Council members. My name is Andrew Pinkowitz. I live in Centennial, Colorado. This is right at the border of Ward 6 here in Aurora, and I live there with my 2.5-year-old son, Eli, and my wife, Caroline. So as a dad, I think every day about the world our next generation will be inheriting. While we reside in different municipalities, our city's issues are very much intertwined. I'm a longtime viewer of these hearings and felt compelled to address this body after observing the AI data center discussion from last meeting. I was disappointed to see that the AI data center moratorium was not passed and that a competing resolution was passed that does not really protect the community from corporations who only seek to make as much profit as possible instead of making a good faith effort to be neighbors. I was particularly disappointed to see a council member behind the dais suggest that the Aurora community members actually want data centers near their residence. The question was posed later if the audience had visited data centers to see for themselves. I would like to pose the same question to this body. How many of you have been to the core site data center in the GES neighborhood? Have you heard the sound of those diesel-powered jet turbines continually running at a level so loud that you can't have a conversation at speaking volume? This is beyond just a mere inconvenience. This has severe health and psychological implications for nearby residents. I listened to today's study session as well and heard council members celebrating so-called water-wise closed-loop systems. Based on what I observed, there may still be some education opportunities available for members of this council. To start, did you know that the hyperscale data centers regularly use 10x the amount of water than is generally reported? Does that sound like a good idea for a state with record low reservoir levels and a historic drought? Absolutely not. Despite data center developers issuing self-congratulatory statements about their commitment to environmental stewardship, the reality is that 56% of AI data centers are still powered by fossil fuels, and that these AI workloads use 3 to 8x the amount of energy than traditional workloads. So the resultant air pollution affects the most vulnerable members of the surrounding communities, especially the kids who live in nearby areas who have no say over the land use decisions that directly affect the air they breathe, and this especially applies for folks in ozone non-attainment areas where these very centers are being proposed. This council represents the people of Aurora over corporate interests, and I would invite the members who voted against the 6-month AI data center moratorium to remember that fact. Thank you.
Laura McLaughlin, followed by Paul Nelson.
I've stood here a few times and stated that this community is growing, a community that is trying to point out to the leaders of the city that there is a big problem with the police department. And so a lot of the family members that stand here, their loved ones have been told that their murders are justified. And again, I've tried to wrap my head around it as a grown person, but I can't. So this evening you heard a family that you cannot ignore this horrific story. A man was dragged by an RTD bus 1,000 feet. And this family is being told there's no investigation. I can't wrap my head around that. This is a horrific story. You can't ignore this one. You can't push off a justification to this family's story. This is another indication that there is a problem with the Aurora Police Department. You cannot ignore what this woman stood here and said she couldn't identify her son. I don't know how many of you up there are parents, but could you imagine that phone call on top of all of us that have stood here and screamed for justice for our loved ones, that we've been pushed to the side and it's said that it's justified. This story you can't push to the side, that there is a problem within the Aurora Police Department. I didn't hear about this story until almost a year and a half later, and I heard about it on social media. But where is the condolences to this family? Because her child was walking across the street. And there's more to this story. If you look into this story, there's a lot that says that happened within the police department. So as much as you want to push us to the side and our loved ones' names are murdered and it's called justified, you can't push this story. I'm so sorry. You cannot push her story away. You cannot silence her. There's a problem. And as leaders of the city, I asked this the last time. How can you fix your community and your police department?
Paul Nelson. Paul. His mic is working. Paul Nelson, followed by Tristan Hoost.
This is the last one. We have one more after this.
Hello, Council. My name is Paul Nelson. I'm with the Denver Aurora Community Action Committee. We've been organizing for the last 4.5 years to try and stop cop crime in our community and to empower the community to have power over this police department so that we can put a stop to this wave of racist violence. I want to first recognize and commend the council for doing the right thing earlier and suspending the rules to allow this family to speak. I think you should have gone all the way through with that and allowed them to speak right while they were up here at the dais. You should do that next time you get the opportunity. Now that that's out of the way, I want to say that, you know, the way you open up these meetings is really hypocritical. You know, you pray for justice and peace. Well, if you believe in God, you'll know that He sees what's in your hearts and what you're doing with your actions. And that until you act towards justice and peace, that's an empty, hollow statement. You ought to move towards justice and peace for these families. You pledge allegiance to a republic that's supposed to stand for liberty and justice for all. Where's the constitutional rights for those being slandered by Todd Chamberlain, your racist police chief, who doesn't give people a day in court, and before their families even get the chance to make the case that their family member was slain unjustly, he's slandering them on TV. He's slandering them in the Sentinel. He's slandering them wherever he can. And what are you to do about it? You have the power to kick Todd out of here. You have the power to direct Jason to do that. You ought to do it. There are a couple of you on the council who have indicated that you're wise enough to do this, and I commend you for doing that. And to the rest of you, how is this not complete incompetence by your police chief? Trampling the Constitution, the highest law that this country is founded on. Shame on all of you who have watched this happen, who have heard the cries of this community, the cries for justice, the cries for you to kick Todd out of here, and they have fallen on deaf ears. You haven't done anything about it. Especially those of you who ran on policies of police reform. You got to act. The people who voted for you did so on the basis that you do something about that. I say that, Janina, coming from your district. I live on Ironton Street. And so I'd ask that you do the right thing and move to demand Todd get out of here. We need a new police chief and one that is democratically chosen by the people of Aurora. Finally, there was a call to be better stewards of the land when you gave that hollow land acknowledgement. You continue the practice of slaying melanated people on this land. That's no better stewardship. That's a continuation. That's a continuation of a brutal racist legacy. You got to do something different. And so I commend you counselors who are beginning to go in the right direction. I call on the rest of you to do the same. I say all power to the people to stop police crime, power to the people to jail these killer cops, power to the people to have real, empowered investigations into the death of their loved ones, and justice for Joseph Jones and his family, justice for Kylan Lewis and his family. You ought to build a community police accountability council. Take this public safety office, give it power, democratize it, make it a body that is made up of the people. That's it.
Tristan Hoost. Tristan Hoost. Tristan Hoost.
Well, your favorite time of the week is almost over. Public invited to be heard, and I'm back with the same speech rewritten for every city council meeting that you've allowed us to be at for the past 2 years. It's the same thing, week in and week out, and you wonder why we get so angry. Our community's brothers, fathers, friends, and neighbors get murdered by the Aurora Police Department, and you all clutch your pearls at hearing a certain swear word. A swear word hurts your feelings more than dead Aurorans. This should have stopped long before they injected Elijah McClain with a lethal dose of ketamine back in 2019, but instead of doing anything about it, you let Jason Batchelor pick the notoriously racist Todd Chamberlain to head our police force. To my knowledge, the consent decree has yet to be audited, and it has accomplished nothing. The names continue to pile up even after you're forced to reckon with a nationally recognized injustice. Kylan Lewis was on his knees with his hands up when he was gunned down. His family has been here consistently. They have shown up more than several of the city council members surprisingly here today. Certainly more than Gardner, Bergen, Lawson, or less frequently recently Hancock. Hell, at this point, I believe they deserve a seat at this city council. I'd vote for them in their flawless attendance record. What I don't get is why they have to have a perfect attendance record when these lazy good-for-nothings get to call in and speak online. Aren't they paid by our tax dollars to be here? The Lewis family has been showing up for free. In fact, it costs LaRonda airfare tickets to be here, and she's been here more than some of you. Corey Dillard's widow is here tonight, too, Anna Harris. Rewind the tape and go back to listen to what she has to say, and then do something about it. That man was loved, and they murdered him. She showed us exactly how long they gave Corey to explain himself, and that's if you assume he even knew there were cops there within that 7 seconds. The body cam footage seems to show that the officer announcing their presence seemed to show the officer announcing their presence in a voice barely above a whisper. We have the right to bear arms, supposedly to defend ourselves, yet Corey was gunned down for holding an airsoft gun to defend himself against a white predator. A man who knew exactly what would happen if he called our racist police. A man who served his country and then was killed by his state. You can do something about it. You can start with firing Todd Chamberlain. You can also remove Jason Batchelor's name from the Office of Accountability you claim to be starting.
That's right.
That was the last individual.
The next issue before us is what's that?
All right, can I request a brief recess?
Oh, very well. The time is now 10:32. We will stand in recess until 7:32. We will stand. It feels like 10:32. We will stand in recess until 7:40.
Yeah, perfect.
Meeting of the Aurora City Council for Monday, August 24, 2026 is called back to order. Motion is in order for the adoption of the consent calendar on motions, item number 10A1 to 10C1.
Mayor, motion to approve 10A1 to 10C1.
Very well. Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen to approve the consent calendar on motions, item number 10A1 to 10C1.
Mayor, we
Very well.
have individuals who would like to speak on items 10A1 and 10A2.
Okay.
The first person for 10A1 is Hashim Coates.
We can. And Katie, if there's no objection, if the speakers can speak to both items at the same time, that would be great too, if they're the same speakers. 10A1 and 10A2.
For 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. Did you hear?
Sorry.
Yeah, per one, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, again, you can speak once, yeah, per one. If you want to do it all at once, you get 6 minutes if you want to do it, but it's probably going to be the same stuff, so.
So I'm the only one signed up for A1, 10A1? Oh, and then I'm the first one for 10A2? All right, Pete, you get this one. All right, so I want to say I believe in collective bargaining. And firefighters are workers. They deserve fair compensation. Safe working conditions, benefits, and a city that bargains with them in good faith. But supporting labor can never mean suspending accountability or blind faith. I challenge an assumption that too often enters in conversations about public safety, that just because someone wears a firefighter's uniform instead of a police uniform, that doesn't mean that person is not racist, biased, negligent, abuse of authority, or institutional failure cannot exist there just because it's the fire department. A uniform doesn't make institutions incapable of harming Black people. A medical certification doesn't place anyone beyond accountability. 7 years ago today, August 24th, 2019, Elijah McClain was walking home. Aurora police officers stopped him and violently restrained him. Aurora fire rescue paramedics responded and administered ketamine. Elijah lost consciousness and was later declared brain dead and was removed from life support 6 days later. Elijah McClain should be alive. Rest well, Elijah. We also can't rewrite the history through the Aurora Fire Rescue was merely standing on the sidelines. The Colorado Attorney General's office investigated and found that Aurora Fire Rescue had engaged in a pattern of practice of administering ketamine in violation of the law. In more than half of the incidents examined, the paramedics failed to follow required monitoring protocols. The investigation also found doses above the maximum allowed amount of the reported weight of the patients. 2 Aurora Fire Rescue paramedics were ultimately convicted of criminal negligence to Elijah's death. So I support firefighters as workers, but labor rights cannot become immunity for accountability. Collective bargaining agreements should protect workers from arbitrary or unfair treatment. It should never become a shield against legitimate discipline, transparency, independent investigation, civil rights protections, or consequences for misconduct. American history, the black type, teaches us that institutions rarely stand up to announce we're racist but some of you did. At Elijah's death, there were a group of you that decided to wear that thin blue line shirt and proudly stand up and support that type of hate. We examine the patterns and outcomes. We examine how authority is exercised. To be continued.
Item 10A2, Hashim Coates.
You may continue, sir.
Gotcha. So I want to start this one out with fuck the police. And that is because they have created this atmosphere for community to say, fuck the police. Whether it has been directly or indirectly, they have earned the whole thing of fuck the police. And sadly, they get to hide under the banner of union. But we know that this police union is horrible. It's corrupt. It's even gone out and attacked some council members that stood up and said Black Lives Matter. For any institution to stand up against that, fuck the police. This is also a shielding organization for harm that causes the people of Aurora to continuously have to dip into their pockets to pay for their fucked up behavior, for their insolence, for their blatant behavior of execution of people. You heard the story today of a family who's lost a loved one not at the hands of the police, but his memory was killed. That's the type of thing that makes communities say, fuck the police. They failed to investigate that. That could have been any of us crossing the street. Additionally, in these type of collective bargaining situations, I am against any type of raise that is given to the Aurora Police Department because they have been a blight and a parasite on the city of Aurora, causing the city to have to pay out so much money. Additionally, if you're having issues filling the capacity of officers to work, why throw more money at it? Fill what you have first. Be good financial stewards. And I'm sure that's a good message that we can agree across party lines. And here's a thought, a forward-thinking thought. If legally possible, try it. Because it was saying that it was not legally possible for a person that looked like me to sass some of y'all's white asses, and I do this on a consistent basis. I feel that any type of payment that has to come out because of the hands of Aurora police officers should come out of the Aurora Police Pension Fund. Let them pay for it. Don't punish libraries. Don't punish arts. Don't punish anybody that was not involved in their bad behavior. And stop letting this be parasitic upon the citizens, the residents, and anyone that spends any type of money in the city of Aurora. Take it out of their pensions. If they feel they're doing nothing wrong, they don't mind that money coming out of their pensions. If they feel that money is, if they are doing something wrong and that shouldn't happen, they'll correct their behavior. Since for some reason, no one wants to utilize their spine as a vertebrae and stand up and fire the police chief or fire the city manager. And I say Vanessa Wilson was an example of what could be done through the pressure of city council.
Ayante Anderson. This individual has 1 extra minute for an ADA accommodation.
Nice.
Mayor Kaufman, members of council, 7 years ago today, Elijah McLean was murdered by the Aurora Fire Department and the Aurora Police Department. And today, this council is getting ready to vote on another raise for the police. Get that. Today should have opened up with a moment of silence for Elijah and all of those murdered by APD. But today, you are being asked to vote on a raise for the police on the 7-year to the date anniversary of Elijah's murder. 2 years ago, when this council was asked to rubber stamp a police chief selected without community input, I stood at this podium and told you exactly how I thought you should vote. Not no, but hell no. Tonight, you have brought me back to another police proposition that deserves the exact same answer. But raises are supposed to be a reward to performance. So before you vote, let's look at the performance since 2019. A state finding of a pattern and practice of racially biased policing and excessive force that Black residents disproportionately stopped and arrested and subjected to force. Officers repeatedly failing to properly de-escalate encounters. Failure to properly document police contacts. Failures seriously enough to put Aurora under a court-enforced consent decree. An officer found drunk and unconscious behind the wheel of a running police vehicle while on duty. duty. That officer was avoiding a DUI arrest, and later he was promoted. A police union president fired after mocking diversity efforts and making racially offensive comments. Officers posing and smiling for photographs at the memorial reenacting the restraint associated with Elijah McClain's murder. A black mother and 4 black girls, one only 6 years old, held at gunpoint after APD stopped the wrong vehicle. An officer pistol whipping an unarmed black man repeatedly and choking him during an arrest, while another officer stood by, failing to intervene. An officer hog-tying a black woman and leaving her trapped headfirst in the back of a police vehicle while she begged for help. An officer repeatedly punching and tasering a man without adequately attempting de-escalation. A handcuffed man slammed to the ground and injured outside the hospital. Officers failing to activate body cameras. Officers failing to properly report uses of force. Officers failing to preserve the evidence, officers failing to properly investigate domestic violence allegations, employees improperly accessing confidential criminal justice databases, employees improperly disclosing confidential and investigative information, officers found dishonest and untruthful in internal investigations, an officer accused of stealing more than 34 hours of city time, an off-duty officer arrested after allegedly resisting arrest from another law enforcement agency while intoxicated, an APD officer arrested for a DUI while possessing a firearm, an officer driving more than 100 miles per hour without emergency lights causing a fatal crash, 8 officer-involved shootings since 2019. 5 of those were fatal, 4 of those had involved teenagers, and now APD is under the indictment of a second-degree murder, manslaughter arising from an on-duty fatal shooting. Nearly $20 million in settlements since 2019, and after all of that, you want to give this department another raise. My answer is not complicated. It's not no, but hell no. In 2019, a top step patrol officer made $89,000. This new contract, they would make $126,000. That's 41% increase in salary. When does Black Aurora get a 41% increase in safety? When does de-escalation improve 41%? When does public trust improve 41%? Reject this contract, especially on a day like today.
That was the last individual.
So we can vote on the motion.
Motion before us. If he signed up?
He didn't sign up.
Y'all ready? No, y'all gotta get where we come from.
Mr. Lewis.
I'm tired. There's no Mr. Lewis, nothing. You know my friend?
The next question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on motions, item number 10A1 to 10C1. What's
We
that?
already have a motion and a second.
Mayor,
You're disrupting this meeting.
Mayor, can I move for another brief recess? I need to.
The time,
2 minutes.
okay, the time is now 10:53, 10:55. Is it 10:50? 10:50. Yeah.
Mayor, the rule is to sign up for agenda items, it must be done by 1 o'clock today. The only individuals that signed up have already spoken, and so there is a disruption of the meeting, and the city manager is about to tell me that you guys need to sit down or you'll be asked to leave, and if you fail to leave, you'll be escorted out. So please, we're asking you to sit down and let the meeting continue.
But, Mayor, I feel like a brief recess.
Take a break.
I'm not challenging you, I'm just telling you the rule.
Point of order. Mayor, point of order.
2 minutes, Mayor. Just let Mayor Pro Tem go handle that.
Okay.
Point of order.
Councilmember Bergen.
Mayor. Yes, I believe there's a motion and a second on the floor.
I think we can continue at this point in time. Okay, the motion before us.
Disregard the motion and the second.
Motion,
We already have a motion. The motion's on the floor.
what, for recess or, okay. Motion is before us to adopt the consent calendar on motions, item number 10A1 to 10C1.
We already have a motion and a second.
Mayor, can I ask a point of order? Point of order. I'm just trying to understand, could we make a substitute motion at this time?
So, yeah, what I would do is the motion on the floor is to approve the consent calendar. Because it's on the consent calendar, the appropriate thing to do would be remove 10A1 or 10A2, or whatever one you want, from that motion, vote on the consent motion, and then it'll be called separately. So if you're making, so which one do you want removed, 10A1 or 10A2 or both? The PD one's 10A2.
Both. Oh,
Okay.
sorry, both.
So Mayor, the only thing that's left on the consent calendar is to vote on 10C1, and then we'll call 10A1 and 10A2 separately.
Very well. Motion, who moved to?
Councilmember Gardner.
Councilmember Gardner and...
Gardner, okay. Will the clerk please read the title item number 10?
Vote on 10C1 first. Vote on the motion on the floor.
Okay.
So we have a vote on the consent calendar, only 10C1. Call for the question.
Well, is there discussion on item number 10C1? Consent. Oh, it's consent. Okay. Call for the question on the adoption of item number 10C1.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Katie, I'm a yes.
Councilmember Hancock. The motion passes unanimously to adopt the consent calendar for motions with items 10A1 and 10A2 removed.
Will clerk now please read the title item number 10A1?
Item 10A1 is 2027-28 collective bargaining agreement between the City of Aurora and International Association of Firefighters Local 1290.
Motion is in order.
Move we adopt, Mayor.
I'm sorry.
I move we adopt.
Okay, move. Do I have a presentation by staff or no?
No, we don't need to.
Okay, it's moved by Councilmember Hancock, seconded by
What are we voting on?
item number 10A1.
Gardner.
I already made a...
Seconded by...
We're in the process of that. So the motion has been made by Councilmember Hancock, seconded by Councilmember Gardner to approve 10A1. That's where we're at.
Discussion? I strongly support 10A1. I go out with our firefighters every quarter and do a 24-hour shift with them. You know, we can go back to Elijah McClain was a terrible mistake, and I believe that those firefighters were prosecuted for that. I may have some differences with that decision. But I believe that our firefighters deserve this, and I would strongly urge an aye vote. Further discussion?
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I just have a question for the city manager or city attorney. Would moving to continue this item and the next item impact the bargaining process and approval process? Like, is there a timeline that would be affected if we continue these items?
I guess both memberships have approved and are awaiting the city's response, and so we are under some timelines. If we are not going to be in agreement, we have to come to an impasse. We've bypassed the impasse timeline because in good faith we've indicated to them that we will take these items for consideration.
And I'll tell you, if I may, Mayor, I'm not going to reveal what we've talked about in executive session, but we have provided updates throughout the process through executive session for input from City Council. That has all been done in good faith. That has gone over the process for both of these negotiations. Council was well aware of what was in the provisions for both. So to deny it now or to continue it, as Jason stated, would cause a severe legal issue for the city if we did that because of where we are in the process.
Further discussion?
Mayor, so just to clarify, so we are bound by timelines that we would be in violation of if we were to continue these items?
Correct. So if you all continued them, I've just never had that come up before.
Ever.
Again, I guess under the charter provisions, if we are not, we do not have a contract, it is supposed to, you know, there's a process laid out in the charter, and I think a continuance, I guess, I'll leave it to the attorney, but it calls into question.
I would strongly advise against continuing the matter, but again, it's a case of first impression for me under this process that I've seen many times since I've been with the city. I would suggest that we not do that, but the issue that becomes is the unions may decide that the city's not serious, that they're not acting in good faith, and they could launch litigation against us regarding the process. Again, I don't want to speculate and give legal advice on the fly what would happen, but if we wanted to delay this, we needed to be upfront with the unions at the very beginning and say, hey, we're not going to hear this until the first meeting in September, and we didn't do that. And so it's not advisable to continue, and it's advisable to go ahead and vote on it as we've been well part of the process for months.
City Attorney, aren't there some mandatory processes for arbitration or mediation at this point if we did not accept the contract?
There are, but we would have to, that's the question, right? Would we go right into arbitration, or because they need to have time to get it on the ballot, right? If we don't, that's the last resort for the unions. Is if the city council doesn't approve these, then they have to have time to get it on the ballot, and we're already past that. And so,
well, I can tell you that to the residents of the city of Aurora, that their view is not reflected here in this chamber. And I believe that they not only support our firefighters, but they support our police officers.
Mayor, call for the question.
Call for the question. Motion, call for the question by Councilmember Hancock, seconded. Seconded by Councilmember Gardner. It's a non-debatable motion. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Horton. Councilmember Horton. Councilmember Hancock.
Yes.
The motion passes with 9 yes votes. Councilmember Jackson, I don't believe that you can abstain from this vote.
yeah, they can't abstain.
Councilmember Jackson, yes or no? No. The motion passes with 9 yes votes, 2 no votes from Mayor Pro Tem Coombs and Councilmember Jackson to immediately end debate and vote on the main motion.
So were you doing the vote on the call for the question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we now move back to debate on whether to pass
the motion.
10A1. Yep.
So, no, the question was
I'm
called.
sorry, the question, but sorry, move to vote on 10A1.
10A1.
Thanks, Jason.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Hancock.
Yes.
Councilmember Lawson.
Yes.
The motion passes with 10 yes votes, 1 no vote from Councilmember Jackson to approve item 10A1.
Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 10A2?
Item 10A2 is 2027-28 collective bargaining agreement between the City of Aurora and Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 49.
A motion is in order.
Move we adopt.
It's moved by Councilmember Hancock, second by Councilmember Gardner to approve item number 10A2. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 10A2.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Okay, thank you. The motion passes with 9 yes votes, 2 no votes from Mayor Pro Tem Coombs and Councilmember Jackson to adopt item 10A2.
A motion is in order for adoption of the consent calendar, resolutions and ordinances, item number 11A1 to 11A3.
Move to adopt the resolutions 11A1 through 11A4.
I'm sorry, what was the
Excuse me.
motion again?
3.
Okay.
11A1, 11A3.
Been moved by
11A4.
Councilmember Hancock, seconded by Councilmember Gardner to approve item number 11A1 to 11A4.
Mayor, we have individuals.
Oh, I'm sorry, 11A4 was removed. Okay, I'm sorry. To 11A3?
Yep.
Discussion?
Mayor, we have individuals who would like to speak on 11A1 and 11A3. The first person for 11A1 is Aonte Anderson, has an ADA accommodation to allow for 1 more minute when speaking, and Hashim Coates is next.
disappointed. And now I'm going to utilize my next 4 minutes for you to sit in silence to think about what you just did for this afternoon, this evening, 7 years ago today. And yes, I can utilize my time to be silent because I've done it before. Watch me.
Is there anyone else signed up on 11A1? Yeah. Hashim did.
We've been crying, we've been screaming, we've been hurting. And y'all thought y'all gave them a raise? For what? L'Oreal Richardson didn't even get a career. He didn't even graduate high school.
The shame is, they thought it would be okay. Those who support thought it would be okay. Because they didn't raise the question before. Shame.
And apparently the mayor thinks that anybody that speaks in here doesn't speak for the city, and people live in the city.
Yeah, I guess they forget what time of day it is.
Only affirming voices are the voices that count in this city. That's wild.
It's like a tea party.
Correct.
Awesome.
Correct.
Voices.
That's right.
Now, play with the rules and we'll show you how it goes.
John's two hearts in your people. There's two hearts in your people. Our hearts are beating with y'all. We got you. We protect you. We got you. And this goes to the public. This goes to the public. Got you.
And let this be a warning. I will stop the functions of this city government if that's what it requires me to do. Every agenda item, if that is what it requires me to do, until you understand that we are not going anywhere. And today, you all fucked up severely.
Hashim Coates.
No sanctuary is this book. And I think it's important to know that this is what happens to vulnerable people in America. Our marginalized people in America, this suffers because our elected officials believe in the spirit of bitch-assness to stand up and do the right thing. Test the waters.
Correct.
They tested the waters to get us off the plantation. They tested the waters to end Jim Crow and to stop the sharecropping. That should hit home for some of you. Test the waters with the ADA compliance. Test the waters with the women's suffrage. Test the fucking waters or drown. Now, what happens at this center? I think that something should be done. There should be space created for these people to have some type of refuge outside from the elements. I also feel that there should not be a fucking tier system that determines on who can eat and what they can fucking eat. Certain tiers get cold food, other tiers get hot food. What is that? Does that sign up to the whole thing of the house and the field? Does that sign up to the light skin and the dark skin? Does that sign up to the blue eyes and the brown eyes? Who makes those fucking distinctions on someone's humanity? And I said it before and I say it again and I mean it with everything in my body. I hope it happens to you or your loved one so that you can have some type of understanding of compassion. And I hope it happens multiple times. And I am just so blown with the lack of compassion that comes from Stephanie Hancock. I stood in support when her son killed that man in the back of the car. I stood in support of the family. But she gets up here and acts as if, I don't know, maybe it's payoff for a deal. I have no idea what it is. Maybe it's the coon that runs through her blood. I don't know. Because the people that told on Nat Turner had descendants. The people that warned of Harriet Cumming had descendants. Also, the people that were like John Brown, they had descendants, and I'm grateful for those types. I want to be clear, I love the allies and I love those who are with us in this battle. But for those who stand against it because they are too cowardice, you deserve more than what I can imagine. And Angela, you were on, I don't know, what I thought the right path was to bring up the whole thing of police accountability and hold them responsible when you and your friend got stopped by the cop and they treated you like you were black. I believe you are, and they did too. They didn't give a damn until you said, I'm Councilwoman Lawson.
Item 11A3, Hashim Coates. For item 11A3, Hashim Coates.
This is, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
This is for Proposition 308.
308, yes.
Oh, the water thing? How did I miss it? Oh, yeah. Support of 308, that's right.
Mr. Coates, is this to Proposition 308?
It is.
Could you please explain it then?
You don't get to control how I speak at the mic, but it is for 308.
That really explains it. I think that explains it more. You agree?
And this is water policy?
Correct.
I advise you to stay within decorum while I have the mic.
You are. You are.
Yeah.
Jason, you can't see it. Jason, you can't see it. Jason, the presentation, you're not looking at the presentation.
Somebody from an alley.
That was the last individual.
Motion,
Okay, we're ready to vote on 11A1, 11A3.
11A1.
Call for the question.
You didn't do a call for the question.
You already did. You broke out a first and second, then we heard the voters.
Yeah, we just call for the question on 11A1.
Okay, call for the question on the adoption of 11A1
To 11A3.
to 11A3. Oh, it's consent, that's right.
Yep, it's consent.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances.
Would clerk now please read the title to item number 12A?
Item 12A is public hearing and introduction of ordinance 2026-44, amending the 2018 comprehensive plan to assign a place type designation to commercial hub for a 18.03 acre parcel land east of South Lewiston Way, north of East Arapahoe Road, and west of South Olaf Street.
Brief presentation by staff.
Mayor, I believe we need to open the public hearing.
Oh. Public hearing is open. Brief presentation by staff.
Yes, my name is Daniel Krasnowski with the city's planning department. This is an amendment to the city's comprehensive plan to assign a place type designation to an 18-acre parcel of land on Arapahoe Road. The staff report details the history of this property and why it was not originally included in the comprehensive plan's place types. It was until recently part of the city's centennial, de-annexed, leaving it unincorporated, and staff is bringing this forward to assign it a commercial hub place type in anticipation of what we believe may be an annexation application. Tonight's action is just the plan amendment to give it its designation. Any sort of annexation item will come under a separate agenda, and staff's happy to answer questions at this time.
Is there a presentation by the applicant?
The city is the applicant in this one.
Very well. Does anybody wish to speak on this issue?
No.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed and a motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve 12.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by Councilmember Bergen. To approve item number 12. To approve item number 12A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12A.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 12A.
Would the clerk now please read the title to item number 13A?
B.
13B.
Item 13B is introduction of ordinance 2026-46, authorizing the use of lease purchase financing to acquire certain equipment pursuant to the terms of an equipment lease purchase agreement by and between the Aurora Capital Leasing Corporation as leaseor and the City of Aurora, Colorado as leasee, authorizing officials of the city to take all necessary action to carry out the transactions contemplated hereby and other related matters.
Brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Andrew Jameson, Treasury Supervisor, filling in for Teresa Sedmak, Treasurer. The ordinance is the authorizing of a 2026 lease purchase financing for heavy fleet vehicles as approved at the Management Finance Committee and study session on August 10th. The parameters are for principal amount of up to $10 million at a maximum interest rate of 5.5% and a lease term to not exceed 60 months. The primary vehicles are fire equipment and dump trucks for the Public Works Department. And we're available for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by
Hancock.
Councilmember Hancock to approve item number 13B. Discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 13B.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 13B.
Reports. Councilmember Andrews.
No report.
Mayor Pro Tem Coombs.
Thank you, Mayor. Several things, I guess, just to begin. This was obviously not the day to be voting on collective bargaining on raises for the folks that were responsible for the death of Elijah McClain. And that, I wish I had noticed that conflict ahead of time, that we had had a conversation and not been in the heat of the moment trying to have that conversation. Because the killing of Elijah McClain, the murder of Elijah McClain has shaped our city, has shaped certainly my entire time on council. It deserved a different conversation and a different day than today was. And there are several other items that I was going to highlight, but at this time, I think I will go ahead and not, and just sit in that space.
Councilmember Gardner.
No report.
Councilmember Jackson.
Thank you, Mayor. I do just want to call out the family that came here tonight for Joseph Jones. That's a tragedy, and I'm sorry that your family has had to hold that for so long in silence. I did want to mention that I think there's some questionable practices that are going on, and so, a couple of us requested family contact, and we will be following up. I think having no accountability in this case is a disgrace, and upon doing research, it appears that the only person who was issued a citation was Joseph Jones. And I think that is unacceptable, and that does not sit well with my values. That's not how I would like to see procedures and policies come out of Aurora Police Department. So we will definitely be following up, and I just wanted to thank everybody who showed up today to speak, because it's not easy. You don't know what you're going to get yourself into or if you're going to be received well, and it's very intimidating, and so I just commend your bravery for continuing your fight for justice. And with that, I'll yield.
Thank you. Councilmember Horton.
I do want to acknowledge that, that was a damn fucked up oversight on our part, that this is the anniversary of the killing of Elijah McClain, and that's the vote that we had to do today. that was on the table in front of us. And I'm sorry about my part in lack of responsibility and attention to that. To Mr. Jones' family, no words. Death by RTD is very personal for me, my own family navigation, and my only commitment to you all today is to work with the council members that are going to get your contact information, work with Councilmember Jackson, not only for the accountability side for the Aurora Police Department, but also seeing what the HAL RTD Board of Directors can do as well. In terms of stuff that's upcoming this week, I just want to name that there's the renaming of the Central Library for Councilmember Edna Wilson Mosley. The second virtual option for folks is tomorrow at 6:30. People can find the link on Engage Aurora and learn more about her history and her contributions, not only as the first African-American council member in 1991, but also the immense amount of work she did for justice and advocacy and women's rights and veterans' rights across our city and across the Denver metro area. And then Ward 1 Town Hall, we have an agenda focused on the development of the Lowry campus, making sure that they get in front of community on the front end of those conversations. We have updates from the Aurora Police Department, District 1 leadership, and then the Colorado Criminal Justice Coalition talking about Proposition 132, which is focused on heavily penalizing folks for possession of fentanyl.
Thank you. Councilmember Wiles.
I also want to apologize for my part in missing what today was and the vote that we did today. I was caught up in another vote that we had recently, and it's no excuse. So I apologize. Yeah.
Councilmember Medina.
No report.
Councilmember Hancock.
No.
Councilmember Lawson.
No report.
Councilmember Bergen.
No report.
I just want to say that I intentionally didn't look at former Denver School Board member Tay Anderson when he was up here for the first time, because I wanted him to feel what it was like when he doesn't listen to us, when he disrupts from the audience. And he did something that only a 4-year-old would do by smashing the gavel for an entire 3 minutes during the last meeting. And when he exercises more maturity, I will certainly pay attention to him, because he'll have earned it. With that, public invited to be heard.
Anna Harris, followed by Tanya Tabachek. Okay, Tanya Tabachek, followed by Ayante Anderson.
Mayor and council members again. This is Tanya Tabachek. I'm in Ward 3 resident, Air Force veteran. I just wanted to, I was not going to talk about it, but going to talk about it. Data centers. I did some research about, let's see here, electricity from data center costs is going up, causing less electricity available to houses. Job loss, water usage, wipeout, white-collar work, electrical grid issue, replenish water, Microsoft helping part of the solution, company to build, an idea would be company to build their own grids so that they could take care of the cost. Also, what I note here is replenish water, creating more jobs, and tax revenues build their own grids and new infrastructure. So I know that electricity in itself is its own, it's not a given, but you already pay enough as it is. So with these data centers, they take majority of the electricity, and then that means people like myself have to pay more, or don't hardly have anything, don't have the electricity that I need. Also, water being a drought, that's another issue that I was driving my brother to his his group, and I'm like, it's funny, it's interesting how Aurora can make say we're in drought 1 condition and so forth, but Denver, they could do whatever they want. They're right next to us. So I don't understand how Colorado, Aurora could do drought issues and say this and that, but then you go over to Denver and their grass is all green. So if we're on a drought, then each other city beside us should be following the same situation as us. Because I know when I was in England, they're in a drought also. And if they use their water pipes, they get, if someone turns them or they use their water pipes, they get a 1,000-pound fine. So I'm just saying, if we're going to do it, Denver and everyone else has to follow.
Ayante Anderson, followed by Median Schaffner.
Michael, when next time that you utilize my name, it is Ayante. When I am called up here, it is Ayante. Next time you want to utilize my former title, it is the Vice President of the Denver School Board, former Vice President of the Denver School Board. Just want to make sure that we got things correct, because you are very triggered by a piece of wood hitting this podium, but imagine how people are triggered when you utilize that gavel over there behind that dais. Secondly, you had no fear when you tried to run up on me 2 years ago outside of this chamber screaming and hollering in my face and had to be physically restrained by another council member. Do you remember that? But we're concerned about the gavel. We're concerned, we click out. The mayor's report tonight for the city representing 400,000 people was about a 28-year-old black man who comes to the podium every 2 weeks. Let that be something said around the city. This blackface can trigger the mayor of Aurora to dedicating his closeout report solely on me. So now that I know that I live rent-free in your head, Michael, I will make sure that I kick my feet up in my new apartment. So let me be very clear. Your statements, when you close out this city council meeting, could have been reflected on acknowledging the murder of Elijah McClain, acknowledging that today was a really bad day to give the police officers some raises. Today, we could have honored Mr. Jones's family and you could have acknowledged their humanity. You chose not to do that. You chose to focus on the 28-year-old black man utilizing a piece of wood that you use over there. So it's okay for you to gavel out the grieving black mother who's losing their child. It's okay to gavel out that constituent that wants to get something fixed in their community. It's okay for you to continue to gavel out those who have lost loved ones at the hands of the Aurora police. But when it is a black man utilizing a gavel against you, oh shit, my report's gonna be about that black man. When there are other pressing issues this city is facing. We're in a stage 1 drought. Didn't hear that from you. Folks are still being priced out of homes in Aurora. Didn't hear that from you. No welcome back to school message for the citizens of Aurora, the kids in Aurora. Check the time, because I know that you get confused. It's not 10:38, it's not 11:38. I know that digital clocks might be hard for you to read sometimes. I still got 1 minute and 7 seconds left. No message about any other issue in Aurora, but you had time in your closeout report for my black ass. So Mike Kaufman, let this be a warning to you. I will make it my mission to make every remaining day of your year and some change left on this council absolute hell, if that means that I get to kick my feet up in that very shallow mind of yours. But I hope that you stop getting triggered about gavels and you get triggered when the Aurora police continue to murder citizens in your street. I hope you get triggered when you hear about black men being dragged 1,000 feet in your streets. I hope you get triggered about those who are losing loved ones in this city. Stop allowing me to live rent-free in your head, Mike. Allow those families to take the space that I currently occupy. And respectfully, fuck both of our gavels.
Median Schaffner. Followed by Bridget Jones.
You know, there's an address line on those forms that we sign up to speak. So, Ayante, I just recommend you put Mike's Head as your residency of address. Tonight, under spiritual guidance, I preserved my tongue for the story of Joseph Jones and the pain that this family brought into these chambers. And I just want to say that I hope that you all understand that what happened tonight outside of this story is one that I will not forget, and I will use every resource to ensure that every community member understands who voted the way they did tonight. You will have to stand in it. You will have to sit in it. Your tears and your apologies are not enough. It only affirms that you do not think about the pain that Shaneen McLean has to hold every single day. As Bridget Jones was up here speaking passionately about her son and the pain that she holds, she has now introduced you to another assignment of your leadership. If you choose to ignore this story, you will have to stand in that on your leadership journey because you were here at the birth of it tonight. So those who do not lean in and do not engage, history will not be kind. If you are already trying to rationalize that somehow, some way, this family's pain is not warranted, history will not be kind. But in present moment, with everything that happened tonight, may the weight of the ancestors forever sit on your chest. And for those who did the right thing, may you feel the breeze of peace and calm, because that is what you deserve. Some of the things that Ms. Bridget did not get a chance to speak into, she will share with you before we close tonight. But I just want to reiterate that the story is just as horrific as it sounds, but more. The 911 call. There is so much that you're going to learn about this family's story. And it is my hope that your heart stays open because they need your help. They need all of our help. Ashe to Joseph Jones.
Bridget Jones, followed by Ellen Wu.
I wanted to say that Ally has spoke up on that. And, okay, I get this. Okay, so with the art, there was no I want to touch on the media, that there was no media coverage with the RTD incident is why people didn't know. And when people coming out the apartment buildings and things, they said they waited for to see the follow-up of what happened or who this guy was. And they said, I looked. And the reason why I know that, because when I went there for my son's birthday and I released some balloons, there was a lady and she said, we waited and waited to hear something about who this guy was that we witnessed. And we did. And it just broke my heart. And they never brought anything to the media about the incident, or that when they found out the same night that it was the RTD, it was never broadcasted to the media. My son's voice was silenced in the media. It was like his life didn't even matter. My son's identity was hidden in the media, and it ate on me. Because people said, well, if this really happened, then I try to pull things up and I see nothing about it. Like, that's not what happened to him. And family trying to find out what we can't, and friends, why they didn't reach out to the community if they were really looking for someone, another driver, why to look for the second driver. There was no media coverage, and my son's voice was just silenced. His life was just gone, and that was it. Also, I wanted to know why the DA never was assigned to the case, or if they were assigned, and did they listen to the 911 call? Or why did the DA never stepped in and the case was just closed and there was not even a ticket for the bus driver and nothing? He stole his license. You can hit a dog in the street and be cited for that. Nothing was cited. And he still got his license. Still driving. I'm sorry.
She needs y'all's help. Thank you.
Alan Wu, followed by Hashim Coates.
Since January 2026, there are those that continue to bully community voices and community members. There are those that continue to attempt to shut down community voices. There are those that continue to not be accountable to the people, but rather be in the position that you are for personal, political, and financial gains. That's corruption. There are those, and in your base and supporters, that continue to spin the false narratives. Those false narratives include, but not limited, there are sections of the city that are predatory and blighted. The gangs are taking over the city. Stop spinning the false narratives, provide credible data and facts, show transparency, listen to community voices, work on root cause solutions, and see what a difference these will generate. There are some that spin the businesses, have contributed many, many dollars to the community. Where are these dollars? Show us the accountability, the accounting logs. 60% of the budget goes to salaries, and with what happened tonight, where are the cuts going to be for the others? If there has been this vast amount of dollars, why are there 3 ballot items? $2 billion to Gaylord, 7 million PML, 28 million, 23 million, 53 million, unknown dollars given to data centers, Amazon and others. Money for a reservoir that may never be filled, dollars lost from the occupation tax. Hopefully the voters will get to decide in 2027. Gaylord is the second highest water user. Where's the accountability? What is their conservation plan? Why are they sucking up so much water? Niagara Bottling Company, 30,000 gallons a day to bottle Aurora tap water. Data centers. There are holes and crevices in the streets that are approaching the 10-year anniversary. Some are older than that. The generations of neglect are present and will continue. So will the unsustainable infrastructure. There will be no social justice if impacted community and community voices are not directing the conversation. DEIB matters.
Hashim Coates.
The time is wrong. I haven't been speaking.
I wasn't certain if you were going
to speak.
Okay.
Thank you. So, I'm really concerned at the headspace, the compass of the council members. I get it. You have a lot on your plate. I get it. You have families. I get it. We all have pain, Effie. As if we're not taking time out of our days to come here. But at least some of you all will get to go home to your families. 7 years is a short amount of time when you think about that not a moment has happened where this hasn't been the situation of Aurora. The fact that you lost the political fortitude to just say, hey, we're going to hold it off. Your council said, well, this has never been done before. Awesome, that's how history's made. Arbitration is different than a lawsuit. And it wouldn't be the first time that the Aurora Police has cost the city of Aurora money. But what it did is it shows that you made a statement, that you stood up to do that. Once again, Mike has continued to disappoint. You like to pick on people you deem are smaller than you. But that's telling, because I think you have a fixation on black men. There's a study that shows closeted men, especially closeted white men, seem to focus on black men for some reason. Not a closeted white guy, I can't tell you that, but that's just what the reports say. But also, you heard a family up here grieving. And Mike, you have before said, oh, your wooden fence is chipping? Give me that number. Oh, there's a bump in the road? Give me that number. But when you saw that mother grieving, you didn't join along with the others that asked for that. You didn't do that. But yet you will be around in black spaces, in melanated spaces, doing the whole skinning and grinning. You are a hell of a politician. I will give you that shit. But one day, hopefully people will remove the blinder from their eyes and see you for what you are. Erasure is something, again, that marginalized people have had to face in this country, and that's harmful. But when you all went through your own personal situations, community was there to support. But for some reason, Rob, you betrayed community again. Who are these black people that want data centers? Like, that's a burning question on my mind. Is it the Fields camp, Rhonda Fields, who's notorious for supporting right-wing agenda under the moniker of it being a Democrat?
That was the last individual.
Seeing no further business before the Aurora City Council, meeting is adjourned.